announce a new coalition. For a very, very long time, for too long, our communities have been suffering the impacts of waste in New York City, and particularly the impacts of commercial waste. Today we're going to hear about how workers have suffered from low wages and unsafe conditions, how communities, and particularly low-income communities and communities of color, have continued to suffer from waste being put into their communities, siting being disproportionately in their communities, and pollution in their communities. And as I think many of us are quite familiar, we've seen very, very low recycling and high landfilling here in New York City. So it's with that I'm excited to announce a new coalition that has formed, workers and community coming together to create Transform, Don't Trash NYC. As you'll hear today, New York City trash is the Wild West. This hurts workers and communities. Right now there's 2 million tons of trash each year in the commercial sector that has been a burden for our communities, but today we're here to talk about how we can transform that into an opportunity. Today, our group released a report called Transforming Trash, and in that report we put forward smart policy ideas how we can increase recycling, protect communities, and create good union jobs here in New York City. I want to give a quick shout out to our groups who are a part of this report and who signed on as endorsers. There's the American Lung Association of the Northeast, Good Job New York, Teamsters Joint Council 16, and Locals 813, 831, and 210, the New York City Central Labor Council, the New York City Environmental Justice Alliance and all its member organizations, El Puente, Oceanside Heights, West Harlem Sanitation Coalition, Dos Quedamos, The Point, Sustainable South Bronx, Uprose, and Youth Ministries for Peace and Justice. New York Communities for Change, New York Lawyers for the Public Interest, Laborers Local 108, the Pratt Center for Community Development, SEIU 32BJ, and We Act for Environmental Justice. So again, Transform, Don't Trash NYC is a coming together of all these organizations to map a path forward. And to hear more about this, I'd like to first introduce Eddie Bautista, who's the Executive Director of the New York City Environmental Justice Alliance, and following him, Elizabeth Jean-Pierre, the Executive Director of Uprose.
Welcome, thank you for coming this morning. For over 25 years, low-income communities and communities of color have been buried by a mountain of commercial waste. And it's not just low-income communities and communities of color in New York City. It's landfill communities and communities that host incinerators outside New York. And not only have these communities' environmental qualities been buried, but frankly, labor opportunities for fair working conditions and good pay has been buried as well. What we know now due to this report is that each job generated by a landfill or incinerator is the equivalent of 20 recycling jobs. The time has come to stop burying our communities, our future, and the ability for New York City to reduce its carbon footprint significantly. We need answers, we need the mayoral candidates to tell us how they intend to address the last frontier of waste disparity, which is the commercial waste sector in New York City. And we look forward to their responses to our report. Thank you.
Don't waste NYC, don't trash NYC, trash free NYC, trash free NYC, trash free NYC, trash free NYC.
And up next I'd like to introduce Elizabeth Jean-Pierre, Executive Director of Uprose.
Buenos días, compañeras y compañeros. Estoy aquí de parte de mi organización Uprose, que es la organización latina más vieja en el condado de Brooklyn. I'm really happy to be here on behalf of Uprose, Brooklyn's oldest Latino community-based organization. We have Sunset. Our organization is based in Sunset Park, a community that has a waste transfer station, a recycling facility, a marine transfer station, and a waste so many that I'm losing my train of thought. The point is that we have been a frontline community exposed to a number of environmental burdens for many years, a legacy, every generation after the other exposed to this. And we have been fighting the good fight, trying to make sure that we bring environmental amenities to our community, but climate change is telling us that it's time to amp it up. I serve, and I have had the pleasure of serving on the Mayor's Sustainability Advisory Board. And many of us can say a lot of negative things about Mayor Bloomberg and his administration, but the one thing that we can't say is that he didn't bring it when it came to the environment. What he was able to do through Plan NYC 2030 is create the framework, the foundation that the next administration has to build on. It has to be the trampoline from which the next administration takes it further so that we are able to address the communities that are in harm's way, that are the most vulnerable, that are going to be affected by climate change. And we know that addressing the commercial waste is a huge lift. But we have so many people here. We have a variety of stakeholders that have come together to say that this is the time. This is the time in our history. This is the time that climate change is demanding. It's a time that our communities are demanding that we step it up, that we amp it up, and that we address the commercial waste stream. Gracias.
Just as Elizabeth said, one of the things that's most exciting about this is the way community is coming together with labor. I'd like to now introduce President George Miranda of the Joint Council 16 of the Teamsters, Sean Campbell of Local 813 of the Teamsters, and a Teamster member, John Chia.
Thank you, man. Thank you. Brothers and sisters, today is the day that we make New York City a better place to live and a better place to work. Teamsters Joint Council 16 represents over 8,000 men and women that collect New York City's residential, commercial, and recyclable garbage. We are proud of the work that we do and strive to see that it's a cleaner and healthier New York City. We believe that recycling works, but not just for the environment. Recycling works for workers and the community. If done right, it decreases landfilling, reduces the negative impact of trash on our neighborhoods, and creates good jobs. That is why the Teamsters have welcomed and been supportive of the administration and their push to increase recycling in private residences. In fact, we have been an integral part of the pilot organic program that will keep 30% of New York's organic waste out of transfer stations and landfills. These are bold and wise steps, but it will save the city millions of diverting waste that would be shipped to landfills. This will clean up our communities and create good, high-paying jobs, but we need to do more. Today, I am calling on the city to work with the community and workers to tackle the commercial waste in New York City. The majority of New York's trash comes from the commercial waste, and it's time we open a new phase of recycling with New York City's commercial corridors. Right now, commercial waste is the Wild West. Our Teamsters brothers, represented by Local 813, see a race to the bottom every day. The bad actors undercut the good companies on wages, benefits, safety, and the environment. This hurts all of New Yorkers. It hurts workers, it hurts communities, business, who want to do the right thing. There is no smart city policy to promote a commercial industry that recycles, creates good jobs, and respects the neighborhoods. We can make a change today by working together with environmental justice organizations in our communities and the politicians here. By insisting on commercial recycling programs, we can create good green jobs. By looking at the current race to the bottom and creating a franchising system so that carting companies may openly bid on routes, will allow customers to decide on their best services. And allowing the men and women that live and work in the neighborhoods good jobs with less pollution would make the city a more affordable and equitable place to live for everyone. Thank you.
My name is Sean Campbell, president of Teamsters Local 813. I'm from Red Hook, Brooklyn, a neighborhood that has experienced firsthand the effects of unfair waste structure that has systematically carts its garbage to poor and working class neighborhoods. I'm also a former garbage truck driver and have personally watched the demise of the commercial carting industry. Growing up, jobs in the private sanitation industry were good paying jobs with benefits and the security of good pension plans. Now, as I stand here before you, I can honestly say that the majority of private carters pay very low wages and little in benefits. Many break the most basic health and safety regulations on a daily basis. I am honored to work with the environmental justice community here and with our elected officials that care about the increased pollution in our most vulnerable neighborhoods and want to create a more just society. We are unified in our message here today that the Wild West days are over, that we are going to fight for better working conditions in the private carting industry and build a program that creates prospering communities, good recycling jobs, and a cleaner, healthier environment for all our kids. Thank you.
Hi, my name is John Chias. I'm a 22 veteran in the garbage industry. To talk for me and our fellow members that are behind me. We work for good companies, give us good benefits, wages, good conditions of working, trucks are up to date, and it's about time that these other companies that do not give good wages, efficient trucks on the road, they should be off the road and have good companies take over the jobs. Thank you.